I'm back.
Ruby Gloom was a neat show directed by Robin Budd, the first episode being released in October of 2006. I used to watch it a whole lot when I was younger, and recently I decided to revisit it. YouTube user Gloomy Ruby uploaded every episode in HD, so if you want to watch or rewatch it, then I'll put a link to their channel in the description. The show actually surprised me with its relatively sharp writing and general quality, so I would recommend it. I am now going to review it. Be warned. The characters. With 11 main characters, they all have very memorable and lovable personalities. Ruby is optimistic and cheerful, but still reasonable, and she has her down moments. Also, the show is named after her for what it's worth. Skullboy spends most of his time trying out hobbies and attempting to discover his ancestry, and is basically a jack of all trades. Frank and Len are some totally tubular dudes who are also sewn together for some reason. Yeah, I never really got that. Poe is a rich bird. I hate Poe. Poe can die. Misery is basically the opposite of Ruby, a walking bad luck charm who takes the brunt of all damage done to the gang. But somehow she still keeps on going, and frankly, I admire that. Iris is very adventurous and stupid, but, Scaredy is, as the name would imply, pretty much scared of everything. But he does his best and cares about his friends, so I respect that. Doom Kitty is Ruby's pet cat, and despite never using real words, still has a distinct, snarky personality. Mr. Buns is a sock. Boo Boo is a bitch baby ghost. That's his character. He is bitch baby ghost, and I love him. Each episode usually contains around 7 of these characters, but the characters excluded and number of those included at all varies. Out of the main gang, Iris is probably the worst, but she's still alright. There are also many side characters, like Mr. White and Mr. White. They're gay. The skits. At the beginning and end of most episodes, there's a 30-second to a minute-long skit that usually involves a random character doing some quirky activity. These skits are short and don't really get in the way, but they still add a lot of depth and life to the characters in Gloomsville, the town it takes place in general. They also give good opportunity to explore various ideas that couldn't work for a full episode, but still have comedic merit. The animation. The animation is definitely a mixed bag, with it sometimes looking very stiff and robotic, but full of life and charm other times. It definitely improved as the show went on, though. Also, the goddamn dancing loops are going to destroy me. I don't know why, but every time I see a character's dancing animation reused, I go absolutely feral. Other than that, though, pretty good animation all around. Most of the music and sound effects here are really great, especially on the music front. Hell, there was even a 2-parter musical halfway through season 2. With characters like Frank and Len being totally devoted to rock, and every character having some musical talent, there are quite a bit of jammin' tunes here. Unfortunately, I couldn't find a full soundtrack, but if there is one, then please let me know. I beg of you. Please. Season Uno. So now that I've said all that useless junk, let's get into the actual show. Season 1 was definitely interesting, albeit relatively boring at parts. The show still needed time to get fleshed out, and that resulted in some dry episodes. For example, the episode Gloomer Rumor, which is just a regular misunderstanding plot. There's still some sharp writing, especially when Frank and Len get convinced that Ruby is dying. Other than that, it's just meh. There are also some extra main characters introduced early on in Season 1, those being Mr. Buns and Boo Boo, but neither of them end up going anywhere. They barely ever get mentioned or shown after Season 1, yet are still considered main characters. Episodes like Missing Buns, where a hide-and-seek match turns into a case to find Mr. Buns, weren't all too great in my opinion, but still had some great one-liners. In the second half of Season 1, things definitely improved. Sunny Days might be one of my all-time favorite episodes of the show, which is a sunny day causing a goddamn apocalypse. All in all, Season 1 has some flops, but it's a strong starting point for the show. With the high ratings, we can definitely expect a lot more Ruby Gloom outside of TV. After Ruby Gloom was cancelled, various DVDs were released and it was put on Netflix. While it was removed from Netflix, the DVDs are still being sold on places like Amazon. But fun fact, Ruby Gloom did not, in fact, originate as a TV show. It started as a drawing in 2001, but only became a franchise in 2004. There is also a Ruby Gloom website that started in 2004, but the earliest snapshot I could find of it was from 2006. This is truly peak web design right here. As the years went on, the website definitely evolved, and then just died in the first half of 2019. A tragic loss. Anyway, before the TV show, it was a regular old franchise with calendars, books, plushies, etc. And now, back to your regularly scheduled television series. Season 2. Out of the 2, or 3 depending on the source you use, but I'm going with 2 because they have an equal amount of episodes and it's the first one I saw, and either way it's the same 40 episode total. Seasons 2 is definitely superior. The animation is better, the characters are more established, it has better writing, and it's generally just a lot more pleasant to watch. The only episode here that I didn't really like is Uber Gloom, which is another misunderstanding episode. Still better than Gloom or Rumor, at least. This season also contains the only two-parters in the show, those being the Hairless musical and Last Train to Gloomsville, both of which are fantastic. It's also much weirder, but I like it. I mean, the plot to one episode in season 2 is literally the gang racing to do their laundry, Scaredy knocking down their walls to reveal hieroglyphics, which then turn out to be a surprise party thrown by Misery. Definitely strange. But yeah, that's season 2, alright? Oh my god, why did it get cancelled? The show was unfortunately cancelled after 2 seasons, with the last episodes fittingly being named Last Train to Gloomsville. For a 2-parter finale, this didn't do a great job of answering many questions. For example, who is Skullboy's real family? Did we ever confess her love for Skullboy together? How did the gang originally come from? What is Ruby? She's a doll. How is she sentient? And on that note, how does a 10-year-old afford this big-ass mansion? In fact, I'm pretty sure the only questions that were answered in these 2 episodes were introduced in the same 2 episodes. It definitely seems like they weren't given a whole lot of time to work stuff out. By the way, the last word ever spoken in this show is bah! Thanks, Misery. And that's, albeit very briefly, Ruby Gloom. Definitely a neat show, and it was nice to rewatch it. I give it 8 pitas out of 10.